All right. Welcome to week 6 of EDT 530. We are 1/3 of the way through the course, somewhere within the course of the next week. So we are going to be continuing on this week in the um, mode of looking at some of the different types of instructional materials that you will be creating for your Google lessons. Last week, the focus was on graphics and the Gestalt principles. This week, we're going to turn our attention to audio, which is clearly an area that is near and dear to my heart as a musician and an audio engineer. And what you're going to be doing this week is taking a look at a program called Twisted Wave, which is A, free, and B, online, so you do not need to download any software. And you'll be walking through a lesson, a wiki lesson, that will guide you through A, how to use Twisted Wave, and B, some tips and tricks that you can use in any audio program to help improve the quality of your recordings. And then we've got a discussion forum for this week to kind of wrap things up. So, in a little bit more detail, in terms of the overview, the first step of the week would be to take a look at this reading, which is an article about instructional audio, using audio as an educational tool. It's just got some good general ideas and some things to think about. Particularly in terms of some of the strengths that audio has as an educational tool. Nothing too specific about the technical side of things, but more just about its use. And then you'll be going into the project, into the wiki lesson. And in the lesson, it's set up so that you will be navigating through the lesson just by using the links at the bottom of each page. So you'll be starting on this introduction page, and then it'll take you into just a basic introduction to Twisted Wave, a link to the website. You will need a free account, but it is free, and there is no software you need to download, so it will work on pretty much any platform. The reason I've picked Twisted Wave for this, we used to use Audacity, because Audacity came loaded on all CCSU laptops. And I became aware about a year ago that they were no longer doing that. And it became an issue to try to get Audacity downloaded onto computers. So I switched to Twisted Wave, which if you've used Audacity, Twisted Wave is going to look very familiar because it is sort of built on the same platform. It looks very similar to Audacity. It doesn't have every tool that Audacity has, but it's got most of it. And again, the main difference being that you do not need to download because it is strictly through the web. So this will get you started just on Twisted Wave and some basic things. Each lesson along the way will also include a video that you can watch that will walk you through all of the things that are being covered on that particular part of the lesson. And then again, at the bottom of each page will be navigation to either go forward or backward through the lesson as you work your way through it. So basically the overview is by the time you're done with this, you're going to have 2 audio recordings that you will have made. One of them is sort of a baseline. You're just going to make a recording and without any knowledge or any special setup. And then you will be going through and being asked to do a series of specific steps. And hopefully, and this typically is the case, when you're done, you'll be able to listen to the 2 recordings side by side. And ideally, the one that has had the benefit of the additional instruction and so on will sound better than the initial one that you did. So you will come out of this whole series of lessons with with those 2 recordings in place. Then what you will do is take those 2 recordings, and we have our second production forum. And what you will do is create a thread in this forum. And there's a couple of questions I just want you to reflect on. And you will put your reflections and the 2 audio files directly in your post. To add audio files, what you will probably need to do is start by clicking on these 3 dots, which will open up an extended toolbar. And the last item on the toolbar is this add content button. And when you click that, you would go to insert local files, and then it'll just ask you to navigate to wherever you've saved your two audio files. So you'll be able to insert them in here as links, and then you can put your write-up answering the questions or the prompts that are here. This is not really a discussion forum, so there's not an expectation that you're coming back to respond to other students' posts, but you certainly can if you want to. That's just not an expectation with this particular activity. So that will get you through the audio work. Now with the graphics work last week, you were working on creating an actual graphic that you're going to use in your Google lessons. You do not necessarily need to do that for audio. You're going to be posting just these two audio recordings that are the result of the wiki lesson. So there's not a requirement that you are creating just audio content for your lesson. But if you see a use for it, then you can certainly go ahead and start creating that content, either using Twisted Wave, or if you have access or experience with another audio software, you can certainly use that too. But that'll be one difference this week, is that what you're going to be working on for the mini project is not related to your Google lesson. But you can certainly start creating that as well. I do provide a couple of links here to some other online audio platforms, just like I did with graphic design last week. And then the final piece is just a general discussion forum. And this one is going to basically ask you to look backwards over the last, I can't believe it's been almost 3 years, but the last 3 years of having lived through the COVID pandemic, but particularly through the eyes of being an educator and or a student during that time. I know many of you are new teachers, and you may not have a lot of experience of what the teaching world was like pre-COVID, but we certainly all were students prior to the COVID experience. And so this is just going to be asking you to kind of reflect on how the COVID experience has changed our use of technology in the classroom, our perceptions of technology in the classroom, your own experiences with it, and so on. And this is a discussion forum, so with this one, I would like to encourage those conversations by coming back and posting replies to other students' posts. So that is basically the work for this week in a nutshell. So the main focus is audio recording. So read the article, get introduced to Twisted Wave, work your way through that Blackboard wiki lesson activity. You'll come out of that with 2 audio recordings. You'll post those recordings along with your reflections to the forum. And then we've got the second discussion forum about the post-COVID experience. And then the continuation, phase 2, which was introduced last week, and that is still not due for another couple of weeks until week 8 of the course. But just to throw that back into the mix so you're aware that you should be working on that as well. So that is week number 6 for us. I will get this all posted and certainly out to everybody well before Tuesday. And then a reminder that in a week from now, so in our class 7, week 7 class, is going to be the next of our roundtable discussion weeks. So I will be posting the topics for that in week 7 and getting that out to everybody at some point this week, so that you have time to prepare like you did with the ChatGPT discussion a couple weeks ago. All right, reach out to me with any questions or concerns you have, and hope you have a great week.